So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Boom. Right, welcome to everyone on the replay crew. Hey. So this is part 2, round 2 of tonight's stream. I'm going to get Whitney up on the stream. Hey, Whitney.
Hey.
How are you?
I made it.
Yay.
Finally.
It's all right. I'm gonna scrap the other one, so we don't even really need to acknowledge it. But yeah, I hope you are well.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Doing good.
Yeah, good. Let me grab your banger up.
Oh, thank you.
Where is it?
It's a nice sunny day here in California.
Oh, is it? Oh, good. Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's been a bit sunny today. We've had a bit of a storm going through, so it's not been the nicest weather sort of like leading up to today, but the weekend was really nice.
Yeah.
Good. Let me pop that in the comments. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to talk a bit about what you do on your channel.
Yes, I can.
Stream.
Yeah. My channel is at multi-chick, but I'm known usually on the YouTube chats and things like that as Witness. And my first name is Whitney, so Witness kind of fits for me.
Yeah.
I read legal documents, and on my channel I have 4 documents that I've read for Scientology cases. We've had some disappointing news the past week or so about some of those cases. But we'll keep I also try to write community posts to kind of update people on what's going on in the legal cases, but also kind of the way Scientology has dealt with legal issues in the past, right? And they don't change their practices very often at all. So I think it's interesting to kind of watch these court cases, and I hope that the victims of this cult get some justice at some point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
hey, Pup Groomer.
Please subscribe. Hi, Pup Groom.
Yes, do subscribe. The link's in the comments and also in the description of the video. So whatever time you're watching, you can go and check them out.
Yeah. And please share with any. Please share with any under-the-radar Scientologists or former Scientologists that might not be aware of, especially the Leah Remini case and what that case is actually about. It doesn't have anything to do with when she was inside of Scientology. Everything in her complaint is about what happened to her after she left. So I think those are good cases for former Scientologists to take a look at and kind of process in their own way.
And very good for like anyone going through any kind of group like that.
Yes.
You know, often people will sort of watch something to do with one kind of group and then realize that they're potentially part of something else. So
Yes.
whatever your curiosity, do it's very good stuff to sort of check out, even for a sort of legal commentary point of view as
Yes.
well. You
Yeah.
know, just to sort of know your rights and things.
Hmm. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, so welcome to everyone else that joins. And just sort of, if you haven't seen one of these streams before, we're going to delve into the dark side of fashion and textiles. And today's stream is on wool. So if you didn't see
Yep.
the first one, you can go and check that out after this one. It doesn't need to be before.
Hmm.
And in the first one, we sort of went through the kind of where wool comes from, how then it gets
Hmm.
made into garments. And so then today we're going
Hmm.
to delve a bit into some of Whitney's
Yep.
takes on wool.
So when we spoke about wool in part one, right? We talked about the way wool was processed, and you had the bad wool and the good wool, right? And you had the wool that had to be scoured and the wool that wasn't scoured, and things like that. And
Mm,
so today we're going to talk about things that are made from wool, and this is kind of an iconic American item of clothing. It's the Letterman jacket, right?
mm.
So if you've seen any movies that are from America, a lot of times they'll have letter jackets in them. So if you can,
Oh yeah,
I
I was
think,
going to say,
show
let me
the
know when
slide. Yeah.
you get that up.
Now, I did not realize that the Letterman jacket is such a uniquely American thing. For some reason, I figured it was like most old American things. It started in possibly England or someplace
Mm,
else and was brought here, right? But here's Eddie Murphy from an iconic film called Beverly Hills Cop. And this is the original. On the left-hand side is Eddie Murphy in a Letterman's jacket for the Detroit Lions. And here you can see he's in the jacket. It has white leather sleeves, and then that main body, that dark body of the jacket is wool.
mm.
So I always thought it was funny that Eddie Murphy wore this wool jacket with leather sleeves when he went to California, right? Now I'm from the
Mm.
Midwest. I grew up in the middle of Illinois, so we had very, very cold winters and things like that. So for us, those letter jackets were very, very warm, and I'm sure in Detroit they appreciate having those jackets as well. So, but here you see on the right-hand side, that is also Eddie Murphy, and once again he is in a Letterman's jacket, but this is for the updated film version of Beverly Hills Cop,
Mm.
the most recent one. But you can see that jacket is a little bit different. First of all, it's a little bit bigger in its fit, and it does not
Mm.
have the leather sleeves anymore. It has what looks like maybe wool sleeves.
Yeah.
So, so that's got to be that's a heavy jacket to film in, I would think.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
would
Yeah, I was
probably
thinking
lose a
either
lot of
wool.
weight.
Yeah, or
Mhm.
maybe like a heavy jersey sleeve. I'm wondering
Yes,
as well
yeah.
could be.
It does look knit, that the
Mm.
gray sleeve part does, but I
Yeah.
can't quite determine what it
But yeah,
is.
very, very heavy, whatever,
Hmm.
whatever cloth.
Yeah. So, where did these letter jackets come from? And, Eddie Murphy has one for the Detroit Lions, which is a professional team in football. Typically, um, these jackets, and I think we can go to the next one that has the Harvard
Hmm.
people on there. I did not realize that it was Harvard that created this, tradition of
Mm.
having Letterman jackets or sweaters. So the way Harvard, it started in Harvard, 1865, which that date is notable. It's, I think, the year the Civil War in the United States ended,
Ah.
and so quite a long time ago. And they rewarded their baseball team players with a team jacket or a team present. All right, and you can kind of see some of those team jackets in there. They have gray, uh, the gray bodice with the dark arms, right? And then this photo is not from 1865. It's actually from 1892. But also you
Mm.
see there's a man there with a sweater with an H on it, and that as well as that Letterman tradition. So
Yeah.
typically in the United States, um, this, baseball was what Harvard started awarding these letter jackets for, but also other schools started to do it as well. And usually these were university level schools. And then as time goes on, then the high schools and would also wear these Letterman jackets as well. So,
Interesting that the
mhm,
sort of like the lighter body with like a sort of a darker sleeve, or just sort of like two contrasting colors. Because
yes,
particularly
mhm,
looking at these ones, the way that the sleeves are done, it's
mhm.
making then the body look very much like a waistcoat, or what you
Yes,
guys would
it
call a
looks
vest.
almost like a vest, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Different to like sort of the ones that you get now, where it's a bit more dropped off the shoulder.
Yeah. Now, the you can also see there's a man in the front. He has like just a smaller H on his chest.
Mm.
Those are kind of, I guess, Letterman, those were sort of the things that they would do. I think possibly
Mm.
those might be the baseball uniforms
Oh yeah, yeah.
that we're looking at. Yeah. But they did wear those. I guess that was all their protective gear. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. So now,
Interesting.
it went to a sweater. So first Harvard started copying, like the football team did it, but they did their own sweater type of thing,
Mm.
and and it transferred out to other universities and things like that. The rules used to be that I think it was back in the 80s when I was in high school. I think the rules for us, this was in Illinois. I don't even know if there's rules as a state or a town or like athletic administration, whatever. But I think you had to be in a sport for 2 years, um, or you had to place in a final of some sort, like in a conference final or a state final, something like
Mm.
that, right? But then as other people, in the colleges or schools were like, hey, well, we don't do sports, but we do band or we do acting,
Yeah.
or we do other sorts of things. So Letterman jackets, then became kind of like this thing for people to wear, kind of to show what, their accomplishments were or what they liked, that sort of thing.
Interesting. I never thought of it
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah. So if you go to, I think it's the next one, is it like the jacket one? Okay, so that's
Oh,
my,
cool.
yeah. Now, this is different, right? Because most Letterman jackets that you see, even today, now, are for
Mm.
men, right? They're the
Yeah.
men's version that have the leather arms, and then the the body of the coat is is dark. This is a women's version, and you can see that there's this like kind of weird fluted hood, right?
Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
cool. To
with
zip
the
it up.
zipper. Yeah, so you could zip it up, which was cool because we could zip it up, but the guys couldn't. So that was nice, you know. And then
Yeah.
and then so you can see that, every one of these coats would come in your school colors, right? So
Right.
I couldn't go in there and say, I couldn't go in and order my coat and say, but I want it in, yellow and purple. Even
Mm.
though those are acceptable team colors for other teams, right? Um, so the town where I went to, our colors were orange and blue, and so everything was orange and blue.
Wow.
And then you can see where, like I was telling you, if people do other things, like the big thing in the back, that's for cheerleading when I was in,
Oh,
I
cool.
think, freshman year or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then there's a smaller patch up there that says AFS Portugal, and it's the flag of Portugal. And that's
Mm.
because I was a foreign exchange student to Portugal,
Ah,
right? So it's not always just sports or whatever, right? It's just
yeah.
stuff that you did when you were in high school.
Oh,
And,
cool.
and then let's go to the next slide. Okay, and that's the front of the jacket, right? So you can see the hood part um,
Mm.
comes up and around. It does have like um, pull ties to it, so you can zip the hood up and put it over your head and then pull it down tight. It's very warm
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And then the P is just a letter, and then there's a little foot tracky thing for mid-conference champs, and that was our
Oh.
team. Our team won the championships for whatever year that was. I don't
Oh,
remember.
cool.
Yeah, so you can see it's got the ribbing or the ribbed elasticized, or I don't know if that's elastic, but it's the ribbing at both the cuffs and at the waist. Um,
Mm.
all of the buttons, the fastening in front are snaps, and they're like industrial snaps. They're
Yeah.
very heavy duty kinds of snaps.
Very good.
And then I think if we go to the next
Do the
picture.
numbers represent anything?
Yeah, the 85 is the year that I
Mm.
graduated from high school. And then I
Ah,
have that,
okay.
yeah, and then there's a chevron above that, and I can't remember what that was for, to
Oh,
tell you the truth.
wow.
So there is the,
Wow. Oh, repossessed wool. Oh, that's cool.
yeah. So, so when we were talking about the dark side of wool, I thought, I started thinking about this jacket because it has
Mm.
80% reprocessed wool. And it's like, wow, that reprocess is a very specific word, right?
Mm.
And I always wondered, what that was. So I started doing looked at this, and not only is 80% reprocessed wool, but then 15% is other unknown
Yeah,
reprocessed fibers.
exactly.
So it could be literally any sort of fiber. um,
Mm.
And then there's another 5% that are just other fibers, which talk about vague, right?
You know.
So we're getting a good example of what the clothing, labeling processes were like in the 80s.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, the lining you can see is 100% nylon. And then
Mm.
the interlining, which is the batting inside of, between the lining and the outside of the coat, is all polyester. So
Yeah.
as you can see, those two, the outside of the coat is wool, right? And
Mm.
then you have the lining is nylon, the inner lining is polyester, which is very keeps the heat inside. So this was a
I was
great
gonna say,
coat. Yeah,
yeah.
this was a great coat. I remember the thing I remember about this coat the most, and I wore it, I think, all 4 years when I was in high school, was it was fantastic when it was muddy and I needed to sit on the ground someplace, and I would just put my
Mm,
coat down on the ground and sit right on it with no problem.
perfect.
I wasn't going to get wet, cold, nothing. So,
Yeah.
and then the other thing about the coats were when we were waiting for track or to go, whatever, you could take the coat was so big you could like put your knees up and put your coat around you and you could like huddle and
Oh
stay
no.
warm that way too. So I'm
Yeah,
all about staying warm, so that's what I remember about the
exactly.
coat.
Very good.
So yeah, we have these reprocessed wool, um, and that's a high percentage of just kind of random wool and other
Mm.
fibers going in there, right? So that's what's inside of this. Now, they still make these today, but I'm sure
Mm.
that, and I haven't gone to look to see if they actually list it as reprocessed wool or if they're using some other technique or whatever.
Mm.
But I'm sure these look different now. Now, these types of coats, though they're kind of going out of fashion. I think I don't see, especially here in California, I see almost nobody wear these coats just
Oh
because of
wow.
their heaviness and stuff. And I think they're
Mm.
kind of out of fashion. I'm not sure though. But
Right.
obviously, if Beverly Hills Cop, the newest version, is going to have
Yeah.
him in his Letterman jacket. So it's kind of an iconic. It's a very American thing, which I did not
Yeah.
realize that before. Um, and then I think if we go to the next slide, I'm not sure what.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, I was gonna ask, did you
Yeah.
find about it?
Yeah, so the reprocessed wool, what that definition is today, right? I'm not sure. I'm I'm guessing that this definition is the same as it was back in 1980, whenever, right? And
Mm.
it's wool recovered from fabric that was never used by the consumer,
Hmm.
which just makes me wonder even more. Oh,
Sorry about that. I
oh, that's
I don't
okay.
know if that's my internet looks like it's fine, but yeah, it could be that. Sorry. We're back.
No worries. So in the United States, that you know, it's recovered from fabric, which is odd, right? It means that the
Mm,
fabric
yeah.
has already, the fiber has already been woven or spun into a thread, woven, all that stuff. It's a fabric form, and that's reprocessed wool.
Could it be like offcuts from the
Yeah,
making process?
yeah, like pattern endings
Mm,
and stuff like that, right?
yeah. Because like never used by the consumer.
Hmm.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
why would you? Yeah. Interesting.
that is interesting though. I bet that is what it's from. It's from all of the scraps that you would have left over from cutting patterns or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Sorry.
you're fine. And then wool recovered from material that has had use is called
Mm,
reused wool.
interesting.
Now, it doesn't say fabric that has had use, it says material. So I wonder if, maybe it
So,
was.
oh yeah, no, yeah, because I say
Mhm.
fabric before. Yeah, no, I was just thinking, fabric. I can't remember if I actually did a post on this or I was just thinking of doing it, but fabric, material, and cloth are all kind of interchangeable within textiles and fashion.
Okay.
When I worked at Ghost, I actually was calling it fabric, but I got thoroughly told by one of the guys that worked there that you call it cloth because fabric could be a fabrication of any sort. The same as material, you know, they could be sort of in construction and you know, kind of metalwork, anything like that. Whereas cloth is always that is sort of textile cloth. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. It's
So
something
like,
I try and sort of pull myself up on using it a lot more. But you know, sometimes you just always kind of go back to the old things that you kind of say. But yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting though. Yeah. Because I don't know if I would call, like, Kevlar is not fabric, but it probably is thought of as fabric, right? Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it says recovered wools are employed usually in woolens and blends, right? So that's exactly what we have here, right? Is we have 80% of this reprocessed wool plus other.
Oh no. Oh, Whitney. Right. Hold on, folks. The Swift. Let me stop sharing. There she is. You're right, Wingy. Sorry, I had to find my StreamYard again.
It's okay.
Oh dear, all the joys of streaming today. Right, let's go back to that.
That's okay. And we can go to the next, the orange slides too, so we can see the weave.
Fabulous. Oh yeah.
So you can see it's a really basic weave, right? It looks like 2 over, 1 under type of pattern. It's really hefty material. I mean, like I told you before, I wore this jacket in rain, snow, mud, you know, for 4 years, and it held up pretty darn good. But you can see the weave of the fabric is, you know, the yarn is pretty bulky. It's not super bulky, but it's not a fine it's not a fine yarn.
No.
And you can see it's very nice. And then you can also see how on the right-hand slide the W is embroidered into that, right? So
Yeah, exactly. With that zigzag stitch. Everyone always asks me why you would use a zigzag stitch, and that is a perfect way to use it.
yeah. It's just it'll keep it on there. And those I never saw no, I do have loose strings from the stitching of the name and stuff, right? But it has never fallen off or anything. I just have kind of it's just worn, right? So if we go to the next slide, I think it's just a small picture.
That's fine. I'm also just going to bring up that Anata on Fire says that the chevron was each year. The one chevron for freshmen, 2 chevrons for is that sophomore?
Sophomore, yeah.
I don't. I'm not the
Freshman,
best
sophomore.
Yeah, American names on it. But yeah, so that is why.
And then let's go down to the one with that's the pocket. This one is just the tag, right? Yeah. So that's me.
That when you were doing that, right? Sorry, just because I can't see the little slides so well. Right, wonderful, the pocket.
So this is the pocket, and you can see how nicely made. This is a welt pocket. Um,
Mm,
it's piped around, yeah, and
yeah.
you don't. There's very little wear in there, right? They did have just like these really plain weave sort of cotton batting types of, not batting, but cotton. It was almost like a cotton canvas inside the pockets, and the pockets were very good at not ever being ripped or anything like
Oh
that.
wow, that's good.
But all of the patches, pretty much you sewed on yourself, or you could find, your neighbor or something that knew how to sew. But you can see on the inside of, those are kind of the
Oh,
threads
yeah.
of my sewing that P on there. So
Very
yeah,
good.
yeah. And then yeah, you can go back up to the I think it's just the next one up, the foot
Yeah,
one. Yeah, the foot with the wing.
this one.
Yeah. So again, these are the patches that you could put on there, but even the patch was pretty nice. Those were usually felt backed,
Mm.
um, with a nice felt backing, and then there would be, I don't know what it's called, but it's just tufted, um, or boucle, right? Looped,
Oh yeah,
sort
yeah.
of. Um, so the orange, that would be all kind of just looped threading through there to kind of make
Mm.
it, I don't know, I had like a tactile feel type of thing to it.
Oh nice, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you go back one to the chevron and the 85, um,
Yeah.
yeah, same thing, right? The chevron has that loop, boucle-like
Oh
loopy
yeah.
stuff on it. hmm And then
Nice.
the number was again just felt, like those were
Oh yeah, yeah.
felted. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's it. And I kind of wanted to just,
I,
talk about these. Oh yeah, that's my horrible.
I know, I know. I wanted to show it. It's good, people need to see
Yeah.
that other people's work with hand stitching. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's on
Yeah.
the inside, it's not the worst.
Yeah, what I did, it looks like there was, I was looking at this earlier too. It was like, it looks like I tacked it. I tried to tack it with these long threads
Yeah.
and then it went, oh well.
No, it's
Oh
the
well.
best way to be. But yeah, usually you take the tack stitches out afterwards. But
And you
it's,
don't
it's
tack it and
fine
then
either
like
way.
go all the way over to the next.
Well, yeah, yeah. But tacking is a long stitch, so it's fine to be a long stitch like that.
Okay. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We'll take that down.
Well, and that's kind of the story of the Letterman jacket. Again, once
Uh-huh.
that was very interesting. I did not realize I've kept that silly jacket forever. I don't know why. It doesn't
I
fit
would.
me anymore.
Oh no, I would keep it if I had it. You know what I've got from when I finished school is you took in one of your. Oh no, gosh, it's gone again. There she goes. Hey. Oh, I don't know what's going on today.
So you said
But yeah, I was
you,
going to
yeah.
say, yeah, we were taking a shirt, a
hmm
school shirt, and then everyone would sign it. So it would either be like the one that you were literally wearing on that last day, or you
Yeah,
were just taking a different one.
that's cool.
Yeah, so that was
Yeah.
like really nice. So I've kept mine.
Yeah.
One of my sister's friends, I think, like washed theirs at one point, and then
Oh
they lost
no. All the
all the ink
names
on it.
gone. Oh no.
But they were like,
Yeah.
oh my god, the shirts that we wore, they were like massive. So yeah, I mean,
That's
not that
cool.
I've changed massively anyway, but it's yeah, they sort of
Yeah.
they were kind of oversized. So
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, still fit, but yeah, it
Yeah.
would, it would have been nice to have had a jacket like that, I think.
Well, it was a big deal. Um, I grew up in a very, very small place. There were only
Mm,
about 100 people in my graduating class, right? So I grew up in a very small rural area, but everything was about sports there. So,
yeah.
if you've watched the movie Hoosiers at all,
Hmm.
that was the town. I mean, that wasn't that town, but it
Ah,
was very much, it's all about sports and
similar.
all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a rite of passage to go to high school and to go, be taken up by your parents to the men's store up in the square to get fitted for your letter jacket and that sort of thing. It was kind of one of those things that we as kids in high school really were, so excited for.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because I didn't realize that it was just such a kind of purely American thing, and really I think it's super Midwest thing, right? I
Oh,
don't know.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I think universities do have Letterman jackets, but they're not as common as they were before. Yeah.
Mm,
So.
yeah.
And then also, I thought it was interesting to see the woman's version of it, right? Because I never
Mm,
see that woman's version of a letter jacket with the unzipped hood and the name really big on the back, right?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. And
Yeah,
and I
that's
felt,
really fun.
well, I felt really special too because my name back in the 80s was Whitney. Um,
Ah,
which was a very unusual name. So
mm,
when I went to, get like a keychain, or, they never said Whitney, right?
yeah,
Um, so to get this jacket with my real like Whitney on it was really a big deal
yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah. No,
it
that's
was
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister always had issues finding her name because
Hmm.
she's Ashley with the um, Leigh
Oh. Hmm.
rather than with the Y.
Yes.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
and believe it or not, I can't always find my name with the I as well. So yeah,
Oh. Yeah.
quite a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta be the hip name at the time to get your name on something.
Well, it was nice when I was younger because I could be anywhere and people would say
Yeah,
Whitney and I knew exactly who they were talking about. And then it was
exactly.
cool. I used to in high school I would read 17 magazine a lot and then I would see Whitney Houston in 17 magazine. She was a model. And so then
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, there's one other person in the entire world named Whitney." And I was
that's
super
so
happy about
cool.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Very Houston of all people. That's so cool.
yeah, it was like, wow, she's got the same first name as me.
Oh
So
yeah,
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 yeah. But
yeah.
I also have. mm,
Yeah. No, sorry. Carry on.
Oh no no. I also
Oh,
just wanted to let you know I have references as well. I didn't have
oh
a
yeah.
whole lot of
I'll
different
link
references.
them.
Yeah.
No problem. But yeah, I was just
Yeah.
going to bring up because an artist said that in their part of the
Oh,
Southwest Missouri, ladies' letter jacket name
we're in
patches were
cursive.
in cursive, usually the last name. Um,
Nice. That's
yeah,
cool.
quite
It's neat how it's
interesting.
different in different places.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Um, and she was saying about the jackets being like really expensive.
Yeah.
So did
Yeah.
you sort of like, obviously it was your choice to buy the jacket or not,
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
to have
it was a
everything else
parents
ready?
thing. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, and it was a parents thing. I think I had to actually letter. I had to get a letter.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
like, I think I lettered in track or something like that when I was a sophomore. So then that's when they But it was a lot of money. I remember
Right.
back in the 80s, it was over $100, and that was like
Wow.
unheard of. But it's funny to me, especially now looking at the wool content, and it's like,
Mm,
well, okay, they were charging like
exactly.
a lot of money, but it is
Yeah,
very
like
well
scrap.
constructed.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, sort of like using like floor scrap fabric and things like
Yeah.
that to make it.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's sort of yeah, kind of recycling and
Yeah.
sort of zero waste, like before kind of we're sort of thinking about it now. It's just what you would do back then. So
Yeah.
it's
Well, and I think it's interesting
very
that
intuitive.
even then, back in the 80s, they were reprocessing, right? Or they were,
Mm.
actually reusing that stuff instead of just throwing it away. That's I kind of like to hear that. So,
Yeah,
at least it wasn't
definitely.
like 100% virgin wool and they were,
Yeah,
giving it to high school kids.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, to sit
Uh,
on the muddy floor.
exactly. Uh,
Um, right, so
um,
I'm just going back, seeing if anyone else had said anything else, but I don't think so. Oh, hello, Freezy, new project.
hey,
Welcome.
hi FXD.
Enjoy your evening at work. Um,
Oh, is he working? He's working night shift now.
yeah. Um, oh, and Popgomer was saying their high school, you simply had to be on the
On the
varsity
varsity team.
team to letter.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's a
So
good
to
point.
letter, sorry, I was
Hmm.
just going to ask, to letter, that just means that then you can get a Letterman jacket.
Yeah, to letter, you see, it did, and that's kind of why it differed depending on like where you were. I think the athletic administration possibly gave out the
Mm,
letters, right? Now,
right.
sometimes you could letter if you were, let's say you played volleyball for 2 years, freshman, sophomore. At the end of your sophomore year, you could letter. Um, but if you were freshman, sophomore that played on the varsity team, you could letter right away, especially if that varsity team went and played like conference championship or state championship, right? So
Yeah.
it kind of just depended. Now, for things like band, you could letter, like when you were a freshman, you could go to the state championships, like in woodwinds or whatever, right? And you could
Right.
letter. And for those, we had a patch that was, it looked like an old timey lyre, like a Greek lyre, um, or I don't know what yeah, and that would be the band emblems. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
so it kind of,
No.
yeah, it depended, I think.
Right,
So
right, right. Okay, okay. Hello, Sue, by the way.
hi Sue.
Welcome. Yeah, and then Anata was saying your
Medals. Hmm.
medals, ping and awards. So were they uh sort of like jacket pins that you kind of have? Okay.
Hmm.
Was
They would
it
look
pinned
like.
on the letter?
Hmm.
So the letter literally is like that P that you had on.
Yes,
So that then
and
stands for whatever.
yeah, whatever I won that, whatever I did to get that P, and I don't remember what it was. But
Mm,
for instance, that mid-conference, the track emblem that said mid-conference state champs,
mm,
then I would get a pin, like a gold pin, and I
mm-hmm.
would put it right on there. Like you would put
Ah,
the gold pin like right on the letter,
the patch.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And so on the
Interesting.
back, I had the cheerleading pat, which I only had
Mm.
that for freshman year. But if I had a pin for that, you would put it on the back of your coat. So it was
Oh,
so you could have
cool.
like pins all over. And then the
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
the guys would get like chevrons, sometimes chevrons up and down the arm and stuff like that for
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
second, third, fourth year type of thing.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah.
Interesting.
Now, some schools really get into it, but I think it all kind of has to do with what school you're at, how,
Mm.
you know, big sports is or big your band is, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does it go sort of hand in hand with the like sorority houses and things like that? It's a very different thing to that.
No, no, not
Okay.
usually.
It's just
No.
like all these
Yeah.
things that we don't have over here. So it's like, yeah,
Well,
interesting
and
to
again, I'm
hear
still
the ins and outs.
surprised. Yeah, I'm still surprised that this wasn't. I just, I think I assumed that this was an English thing, maybe that was brought over,
Mm.
to universities, but from, you know, from that
Yeah,
heritage,
no.
but it's not.
Universities here has always been very, very old school, to be honest. It's only been the past, hmm, like when I went to uni, Freshers Week wasn't the biggest of things. Like we kind of had bits going on, but it
Yeah.
wasn't really
Hmm.
until then my sister went to uni, which was like 2 years after my first one, that she was on a campus where they did it like really big, like they had parties
Hmm.
and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't really know if it was ever such a big thing before that.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, and then kind of sort of obviously ever since it's kind of developed into more of a thing. So we might even, I mean, I don't know if they necessarily would do sort of jackets now, but you know, there
Yeah.
could be sort of more things like that
Yeah.
popping into sort of universities now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely it was more sort of like robes and
Yeah.
kind of um,
Caps and gowns and
singing, yeah, and
yeah.
sort of like kind of like singing hymns and things like that, you know, more
Hmm.
of a thing than, yeah, kind of mad into sports and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, cool.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, this was
Well,
really
thank
nice.
you.
Thank you very much for sharing
Thanks for
your jacket
allowing me
story.
to. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you as well to everyone for checking in and watching. Um, and yeah, and I will change the name of the one that I did earlier, or I might just take it off altogether.
Thank you for
But
your patience
no, you're
with
fine.
me.
You're fine. I'm gonna go and do my dinner now because I'm
Okay.
very very hungry.
Ugh.
Um, and Angata on Fire says, love the ladies' Letterman jacket. Oh, sorry, no, leather jacket. I'm mixing up my words.
Yeah.
But I couldn't justify saving for one.
Yeah.
I'm a ginger and the colours were either black and gold or red and white. Oh, bless you.
Oh no.
You know what? That is like such
It's
a
true.
such a thing that like I feel like guys never even think about that. But like we have to, it's just sort of in our nature to think about these things. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
I totally get your woes with that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so
Yeah.
thank you to everyone for joining.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much, Whitney, for walking us through that.
Thank you.
And I'll just put up my little banger as we go out.
Okay.
And yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm going in for a surgery tomorrow. So and then I'm going to be recovering at my parents'. So there will be no stream next week, just because the internet is even worse than what we've seen tonight at my parents'. So yeah, I kind of worry that even if we stream, it kind of won't hold up for very long.
Yeah.
Plus,
Good
I will
luck
be
to
in
you.
recovery. Thank
Yeah.
you. Plus, I'll be in recovery, so I don't really know what state I'll be in next week. But we will try for the week after, because I will be back in London by then. And
Sounds good.
but yeah,
Take
but
care.
I will be, thank you. I'll be keeping everyone up to date with kind of how things go tomorrow. You'll see me in some sort of post with my I've got to wear them like blood clot stocking things, so I'll try and do
Compression hose or
a
whatever.
fashion, yeah, that's it, yeah, compression hose. That's so funny. Jack, you'll make us go viral again with that. I'll have to clip that. I was saying Eve earlier that about our latex stream going viral.
It went
We're
totally
on
viral.
like 1.5 thousand views so far.
It keeps going up too. I don't like, wow, people really like latex.
You
Like,
know,
wow.
it's like the #1 search. It's crazy. So we'll have to do more. I did get an offer of some whips at one point.
Okay.
That person knows who they are. But yeah, I said, well, we won't be demonstrating them, but
Yeah.
we can talk about leather indeed.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your latex stream.
Thank
That was
you.
very. You went viral with that
So,
one. Good job.
exactly. You gotta find the right wording.
So awesome.
You should feed that into one of your like titles. Just like have it as like the last word, and it will bring people to you.
Yeah, exactly. How the West was won with latex.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, there we
With
go.
latex.
The power of latex. Indeed, indeed.
So funny.
So thank you to all my new subscribers since that stream has gone out. I appreciate you
Thank
all.
you.
And yeah, thank you all for joining. And yeah, check out both of our community pages, because that's where you find out a lot behind the scenes info. And we will see you all later.